Today is Saturday, May the 5th, 2018. Hello, and welcome to Weekly Astrology Notes. Week of May 6th through the 13th, 2018. Highlights for this week. Well, we got a busy week ahead with 7 planetary aspects. Lots of activity, lots of movement, changes, some of it unsettling and some of it really good. A week when we have to deal with crisis and hopefully make some critical breakthroughs. And with so much going on with Mercury, it's sure to be another explosive week in politics. We start off with a rather calm Sunday the 6th with Sun sextile Neptune. Makes it a lazy Sunday during the day. And then starting Sunday evening and moving into Monday morning, we've got Mercury square Pluto, followed by Venus square Neptune. And that's 2 squares at the start of the week. And that's going to bring intense behavior and a crisis to obtain vital information. But new questions keep popping up. Lots of confusion. And that'll be quickly followed by a period of rapid growth on Tuesday with the Sun opposition Jupiter. A day to find a crowd to be in, as you'll want to share yourself with others more than usual. Very optimistic and confrontational as well, because it's an opposition. You see, we thirst for information to bring greater awareness, get in tune with cosmic forces. So there's a lot of growth on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, the only days without planetary aspects this week. We've got the moon in Pisces as well. Makes us more sensitive and soulful with some nice aspects to go along with it. A couple of quiet days in the middle of the week. And then on Friday, Sun trine Pluto. Very productive aspect. Lots of energy and stamina. In Earth signs, we're looking for material gain. We're in the month of Taurus, and once again, personal values become prevalent. And with opposition to Jupiter and Scorpio and 3 trines to Capricorn, it's very strong this year. The whole issue of personal values are becoming very important this year, especially coming up next week as Uranus moves into Taurus. And I'll be talking about that a little bit more as we get on into the video. But this Sun trine Pluto coming up, it's really going to ignite a lot of this personal values, this Taurus energy that's coming into being right now. All this positive towards energy this season brings a strong need to express your personal values. You know, maybe start your own business. Be more conscious of the link between your values and your money and your personal possessions. And then we've got an exciting weekend ahead. On Saturday, we've got Mercury square Mars. Brings a confrontational tone and an aggressive response. We're mentally very active. You may need to slow down. And then on Sunday, a restless and ambitious morning. We've got Mercury conjunct Uranus, as it's thinking independently, maybe acting a little bit strange. And this will be on Mother's Day, by the way. May bring a sudden change of plans, so you might want to be on the lookout for that. And the moon aspects are going to bring out some volatile and rather independent behavior as well. All in all, it should make for an interesting Mother's Day morning. And I would say drive with caution this coming weekend, the 12th and the 13th, with so much going on with Mercury. You know, you got the square to Mars and the conjunction to Uranus. That could be quite a bit. And also an explosive time in politics. And gardeners, since it's the planting season, this week I'm including information for gardeners. The best time for planting this week is going to be when the moon is in Pisces, and that's Wednesday and Thursday. It's a perfect time to put seeds in the soil when the energy is very moist. So if you're one of those people like me who likes to start their garden from seeds, moon in Pisces are really good days to do that. As well, the moon in Taurus on Sunday afternoon, the 13th, is also a good time for planting. However, we are in the last quarter moon this week. So really, this week is not an optimal time for planting live plants or putting live plants in the ground. You really want to wait for the first quarter moon. So get your garden prepared this week and get ready for planting next week when we'll have the first quarter moon in Cancer, the absolute optimal best time for planting for the season. And that'll be on Friday and Saturday, the 18th and 19th. And this is the last full week of Uranus in Aries. Uranus enters Taurus next Tuesday, the 15th, and that'll be the same day as the new moon. It's going to be a blast because we will get Mars in Aquarius squaring Uranus just as Uranus enters Taurus. So next week is going to be full of surprises. Could be quite an event. And at the end of this video, California gets its Uranus return starting this Saturday the 12th. It's time for big changes in the Golden State. Maybe we'll see some big event to bring the issues to the forefront so that everyone is fully aware of what's going on. That's what we're looking for in this particular case. The idea of change needs to envelop the group consciousness. And that's really what the Uranus return is all about. So we're looking for something that will bring the idea of change into the group consciousness. Could bring a big event. Okay, so let's get started with Sunday the 6th. We start in the morning with the moon square Uranus. Has us feeling rebellious and want to shirk responsibility. And then we've got Sun trine Neptune. The perfect aspect for a lazy Sunday. Taurus the bull wants to feel comfortable, happy in your shady spot, chewing your cud. Don't feel the need to change. Feel very accepting of others and willing to overlook the bad side. It's a little bit delusional, but very compassionate and warm. Just really easygoing, receptive towards others, low ego energies, not fussy at all, rather easy to please. And it's a really good time to be in nature and just to connect with the natural environment. The sensual earth energy takes on a spiritual quality. Better able to tune into the nature fairies and elemental spirits, and have a spiritual experience in nature. It's also a good day for getting a massage, also for working with crystals. It's very romantic. It's just a really great aspect. And then in the evening, we've got the moon entering Aquarius, so we're going to be more interested in social affairs for the next couple of days. Good time to spend with friends and associates. And we're going to have a lot going on with moon in Aquarius for the next couple of days, so it should be rather exciting. Enjoy the surprises. And for gardeners, it's not a good time for planting. And the moon square Pluto is going to be in effect on Sunday evening, because you'll see it happens so early on Monday morning, the 7th. And the Mercury square Pluto. So that'll be 21 degrees of Aries to 21 degrees of Capricorn. So this aspect brings a crisis to obtain vital information. We're mentally focused, got a penetrating mind, desire to get beneath the surface layers and know the deeper meaning. Good for hard work that requires attention to detail, looking to get ahead and willing to work hard to do it. Critical of self and others, demanding attitude. Looking to see hidden things or reveal secrets. More interested in esoteric subjects. A productive aspect that helps you cut away things that are depriving you of your power, because it's Mercury in Aries. So all information is met with force, as if it were a threat that you must combat with. Intense behavior. Be careful while driving or operating machinery. More prone to accidents. Aspect may also bring up money concerns, thinking about what you have and how much it relates to others. Jealousy. Best not to get dramatic or caught up in other people's drama. We all need to see if our opinions have collective value, otherwise we feel inadequate. So you may feel a compelling need to demonstrate your views. Maybe you should premeditate on it first and be sure that that's the case. You may just feel threatened in some way. Sometimes it's better to say nothing. We all need to become more aware of the power of our words, how they influence others, and how the way we speak either helps us or undermines our efforts. This aspect reminds us of this important lesson in life. So be judicious with your words today. The temptation is to reveal too much, as if it would gain you more social importance. Listening can gain you that vital information that you need and can be a way of learning how to merge your views with the collective and find out what value your opinions truly hold. You may even be inspired to become part of a group that is improving society for the better. At least you may feel more concerned about the general welfare, which can expand your thinking and provide you with the critical information that you seek. And of course, this aspect could bring up some serious political battles. Pluto squares have a way of severing. A deep cut often means someone suffers a terrible defeat. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have Venus square Neptune, 15 degrees of Gemini, or actually about 16 degrees of Gemini to 16 degrees of Pisces. So this is the Gemini to Pisces square. Again, it's a crisis to obtain more information, much like the Mercury square Pluto is in a certain way. In some ways, it's that same quality. Only with this aspect, we feel overwhelmed with each new piece of information as it raises more questions. Open to subtle vibrations around us. We're very receptive. So much information and impressions coming at us that we seek sanctuary. Some may be tempted to indulge in drugs and alcohol to numb the feelings of pain and disassociation, but best to stay away from that. We're very sensitive. They have a stronger effect than usual, and we're just a lot more psychic with this one. Certainly these two squares make for a challenging Monday, but if you realize that much of what is coming at you is not really your responsibility, then you should be able to deal with it just fine. We're in such a crisis to incorporate transpersonal concepts into our being, get more information, that we can easily lose ourselves to forces beyond our control. The best bet is to pull back, not get involved with or absorb other people's confusion. Find sanctuary and redefine your personal boundary. Ask yourself, what's the scope of my responsibility? Why do I feel a need to react to the information coming at me? An important concept in astrology that I've discovered lately is that our personal responsibility actually stops at Saturn. Beyond that, what we experience is transpersonal concepts from these transpersonal planets, but we never really work within them, within ourselves, the way that we work on the planets of Saturn and inward. So sometimes I've heard people that say, I've done my Pluto in this life. Well, you can't have done your Pluto, because if you had, you would have done mine too, and everybody else's. So that's the way the transpersonal planets are. So understanding that we're bringing a lot of this information into us, but our scope of responsibility really is at our Saturn. And that basically means getting a grip on life and staying in the present moment. This aspect confuses. It brings two levels of awareness together, the material and the non-material. But that doesn't need to be bewildering. Best not to come to any conclusions just yet. It's not a day to sign contracts or even to have negotiations. Relationships suffer from projecting overly idealistic expectations onto your partner. Brings up lots of idealism, as well as suffering and disappointment. It's a good aspect to inspire your artistic talents. The squares to Neptune are where we do the artistic work. Pick up the paintbrush and put pen to paper and write music or poetry. You really need to use your hands or voice, ruled by Gemini, to express the non-material realm. Neptune and Pisces. Whatever confusion you feel is best met with art. In that way, you meet the need to incorporate the non-material world into your life. The crisis to gain more information is fulfilled through finding and expressing your direct divine connection. Very important to understand with Neptune, because we really, a lot of Neptune energy is wasted. And this can be an extremely productive aspect if you understand that what you're really looking for with that desire for more information is nothing less than your direct divine connection, which you get through art. And as well, it could be another confusion in politics. So much of that these days. Okay, we've got some moon aspects to consider here. We've got the moon trine Venus, helps you get in touch with your feelings. And then we've got the last quarter moon square sun, late in the evening on Monday, the moment when we experience success or defeat. to this month's plans. Feeling a bit wound up, not as available for others as usual, more critical. For the next 7 days, we're more reflective, and that's the last 7 days before the new moon. We experience a crisis of consciousness as we prepare for the next phase of growth, and as I mentioned, for gardeners, it's best not to plant in the last quarter of the moon. It's really not optimal. Best to plant when the first quarter moon gets here. And then we're going to have the moon square Jupiter late on Monday evening, so we're feeling lazy on Monday evening. Okay, moving along to Tuesday, the 8th. We start early in the morning with sextile Mercury. Communication flows smoothly. And then we're going to have the aspect Sun opposition Jupiter, exact in the afternoon. And that'll be 18 degrees of Taurus to 18 degrees of Scorpio. Aspect brings lots of activity. It's a high energy day. Good for physical exercise. You need to stretch and expand. Very optimistic. Looking for information. Once again, the whole week, it seems. Looking for more information. In this case, we're desired to get in touch with cosmic forces to bring greater awareness. Loud, expansive, a bit rhetorical and philosophical, as well as professorial. Tend to confront every situation as if it were an opportunity for growth. And that includes other people, as if they're going to help you in some way, or there's going to be an exchange of important information between you and others. There's a thirst for greater awareness, which you desire to incorporate into yourself. So, like I said, it brings a lot of this confrontation because it's an opposition, and that's what those do. In this case, it's just, I want more and more. Desire to incorporate things into yourself. It's idealistic, but it does create conflicts with others because it's of the opposition. We're a bit carefree, and we don't feel like following the rules. We desire to be in a crowd. Time to make new friends. Desire to earn money, because it's that Taurus to Scorpio axis. Looking for ways to secure your financial independence. Abundance of creative energy, which is well suited for educational purposes. So this is a really good aspect for a teacher in their natal chart. It brings people together, so it's a great aspect for social occasions. Aspect could draw a crowd, as oppositions to Jupiter tend to do that. So, a lot of growth from this one on Tuesday. It's shaping up to be a significant week already by this point. Lots of activity. And then in the evening, we're going to have the moon sextile Uranus. Have us feeling a bit unusual and ambitious. And then the moon enters Pisces. We're more sensitive for the next couple of days as we unravel our emotions and feel a need to be connected to higher source more than usual. Important thing to remember when it comes to Neptune. It's all about your desire to get in touch with your direct divine connection. And with the moon, we feel an emotional desire to do that. We're more psychic. We're open to the subtle impressions around us. Lots of good aspects for the moon in Pisces these days. The sextiles to Capricorn and the trine to Jupiter make it an expansive time. And for gardeners, it's a very good time for planting, putting seeds in the ground that will come up next week at the first quarter moon. It's optimal for that. Okay, moving along to Wednesday. We've got just one aspect here, and that's the moon sextile Saturn in the early afternoon. So we're attending to duty and responsibility at that time. It's the only aspect for Wednesday. No planetary aspects on Wednesday and Thursday. Say 2 days of calm in the middle of the week. And then on Thursday morning, actually more in the middle of the night, we've got the moon conjunct Neptune. Once a month, cosmic poke on your belly button. We're very sensitive. Emotions trying to tell you something. Try to recall your dreams. And then also the moon trine Jupiter. Lots of emotional energy to get us moving on Thursday morning. Desire to expand. Very idealistic. Brings pleasant feelings. And the moon square Venus. Lots of mental activity. but low energy, unsure of your feelings, easily deluded. And the moon sextile sun, insecurities fade, easier to relate to others. All this is on Thursday morning. And then in the early afternoon, moon sextile Pluto. Desire you can make a positive difference in someone's life right now. Very altruistic, or philanthropic, I should say. You can help change someone's life for the better. Okay, moving along to Friday, the 11th. We start, and we got the middle of the night, we got moon sextile Mars, so it's kind of feeling a burst of energy and romantic in the middle of the night. And then in the early morning, the moon enters Aries. Time to begin new projects. We're more energetic for the next couple of days, more courageous and able to act on our instincts. And for gardeners, fire signs are not a good time for planting. And in the afternoon, we're going to have the sun trine Pluto. And that'll be 21 degrees of Taurus to 21 degrees of Capricorn. A very productive aspect. Desire to make changes for the better. Anytime you see a trine to Pluto, just put the word change for the better, because that's what it always brings. Desire to get ahead, earn money, start your own business, find the resources you need, and even help others to improve their lives. Time to express your personal values. Often that means spending money. Got lots of energy, stamina, and strength. Apply yourself to some useful material task. Something good for everyone concerned, because it's Pluto. It's perfect for building something meant to last. We're more confident, aware of our power, desire to be part of the community and be relevant. Desire to address important issues facing the community, how things need to change and reform for the better. Able to make new valuable connections with others. It's a good week for making new friends. Share things of value. Make a positive difference in someone's life. Just like the Sun opposition Jupiter from Tuesday, this aspect can bring new people into your life, possibly friends into your life, and that's a really good thing. Someone who could be a benefactor. As well, you could be that for them. You know, we see the intrinsic value in one another, and we want to join forces, develop a common goal, do something together that can't be done alone. All in all, a very productive aspect that helps us focus on duty and responsibility that we need to get a grip in life. And then finishing up on Friday in the evening, we've got the moon square Saturn. Makes us a bit inflexible and judgmental. Moving along to Saturday, the 12th. We start in the morning with Mercury square Mars. And that will be 28 degrees of Aries to 28 degrees of Capricorn. Much like the Mercury square Pluto from Monday. Okay? Very similar kind of energy. So use caution while driving this morning. Aspect indicates a show of force with your voice or your hands. Confrontational, an aggressive tone and response to others. Lots of mental activity, more energy, lots of ideas that pass quickly. A sharp mind, critical, looking for weaknesses in others, but generally not willing to show your own. You know, Aries never likes to show their weaknesses, and, you know, that's Mars as well. So that's where that comes from. Quick-witted, a sharp tongue. Be careful what you say. It could hurt your reputation. The energy may fry your nerves a bit. You may need to slow down. You see, we've got Mars squaring its ruling sign of Aries, and that brings self-abuse or self-destructive tendencies, or actually abuse of others, like arguing for no reason, saying things out of place, taking things too personally, assuming the worst in others, or that others are judging you. Best to use this aspect in a way to keep your hands busy and productive. And then in the evening, we've got the moon square Pluto. So tensions rise, preoccupied with what you don't have. Brings up jealousy. Although we do have the moon sextile Venus late on Saturday evening, and that does bring pleasant conversations late in the night. Okay, so moving along to Sunday, May the 13th. We start in the early morning, and actually this will be in effect on Saturday evening as well. and that's the Mercury conjunct Uranus. And that'll be right here, as you see, at 29 degrees of Aries, with all of these squares to it. Okay? So, Uranus is the higher vibration of Mercury. At the conjunction, we feel a sense of our higher potential as human beings. We're more in tune with the group consciousness, able to take a step back and see the entire group and view it objectively and impersonally. A brisk pace of activity, folks moving quickly. We're more psychic, able to sense opportunity, brings out strange behavior sometimes, more curious, interested in the unusual or different topics and people, more abstract thinking, able to frame an idea in your head and work with it. And it may bring a sudden change of your plans. Whatever you intended to do this morning may just suddenly change. Ambitious, lots of ideas. So many good ideas may come to mind. You may want to have a pen and paper ready so you can write them down. Able to overcome mental limitations, strong desire to be with friends, be part of the group, intrinsic awareness of the values of others, facilitates sharing of ideas with the other, understanding that whatever helps you helps me, and vice versa. It brings the concept of brotherhood, equality, and democracy, all those things associated with Uranus, into the conscious mind, which is Mercury. Excellent aspect for writing. In Aries, we're headstrong, ambitious, and have a lot of courage. Push yourself to listen. It's hard to do with Aries sometimes, but if you really do, it's well worth it. And that's because everyone's going to have something interesting to say this morning. Everyone's going to be a bit enlightening, including my rooster that just went off. So we're more volatile with the moon aspects as well. We may have some disruptions this morning, more likelihood of a sudden change in plans. Repressed energies burst forth, but it's all for the better, to help you break out of stagnant patterns. Try something new, change your mind, think in new ways. And of course, be careful while driving or using machinery, a little bit more accident prone. And Mercury then enters Taurus, which kind of gets us ready for Uranus entering Taurus in a few more days. Now, it's been in Aries since March the 7th. It's a long time because it went retrograde while it's in Aries. And now that Mercury's direct, we're back to the usual 2.5 weeks per sign. In Taurus, it'll be there until May the 29th. So Mercury enters its death cycle in Taurus because it rules the sign of Gemini, and Taurus is the 12th step in the 12-step process that begins with Gemini. So the usually agile Mercury energy can get stuck in stubborn attitudes and laziness. We're more sensitive to what others say about us and prefer to take our time when making decisions. All of this results in a slowdown of the Mercury energy. Hence the feelings like communication is dissolving. Kind of feels like Pisces for Mercury. Because, like I said, it's that last step, and that's a Pisces step. Okay, so although Mercury Taurus is good at persuasion, and the energy of communication is focused on personal value, it's a good time to spend money on yourself and what you consider to be important. With 3 planets in Capricorn and Jupiter in Scorpio, passage through Taurus presents more opportunities than usual these days. This spring season, we're more focused than usual on seeking opportunities for material enterprises, strong need to express our personal values in a way that brings success and earns money. And here's those volatile moon aspects. The moon square Mars and the moon conjunct Uranus. You'll see both happening on Sunday morning while we're having breakfast with mom, or maybe lunch with mom. Okay, so moon square Mars, strong identification with your emotions, commanding the respect of others. Volatile, self-destructive. You want to take care of your health. Very sensitive digestion as well during this time. Moon conjunct Uranus, disruptions, desired change for the sake of change. Brings a sense of entitlement, especially in the sign of Aries. We're independent and hard to find balance. brings out strange behavior, the need to be different. And then a void, of course, begins, and the moon enters Taurus in the late morning. We're more steadfast for the next couple of days, working on projects already started. More easygoing, relaxed, sensual. The earth energy makes it a good time to connect with nature. Lots of opportunities for planets in Taurus these days. And gardeners, it's a good time for planting, but once again, I still encourage you to wait for the new moon. And then the moon conjunct Mercury right about noon on Sunday. This is a really nice one. Subconscious and conscious mind working in unison, more instinctual, adaptable, talkative, curious, goes well with the Mercury conjunct Uranus. And I should say, really well able to talk with mom. Because, talking, that's Mercury, right? And moon is your mom. So it's really the perfect aspect for Mother's Day. Get you to talk with your mom. Okay? Well, that's perfect. That's all this week for this week's aspects. Okay, moving into interesting stories for this week, focusing on the state of California. I found this image on the internet. Instead of saying California Republic, it says New California Republic. It looks like the movement is gaining momentum. Well, what is going on lately with California? People are leaving the state in droves. State and local governments are openly defying the federal government, and the governor is leading the way. There's openly talk of splitting up the state into 2, 3, or more states. Taking a look at their transits, I've been talking about them lately, and some of this can be attributed to the transit Pluto square Saturn. You'll see they have Saturn here natally at 19 degrees of Aries, and Pluto currently at 21 degrees of Capricorn is about to make a second pass. 2 more passes, July 21st and December the 7th. Now this transit has given them a ruthless desire to take away the reins of power from the authority. And certainly that's created a bit of turmoil. But really the major event going on with them these days is their Uranus return. You'll see here they have Uranus natally at 29 degrees of Aries. So their Uranus return, their first pass, is happening this Saturday, May the 12th. And concurrently, Uranus quincunx Jupiter at 29 degrees of Virgo, and that'll be happening on Friday the 11th. And Uranus conjunct Pluto, and that'll be happening on Monday the 14th. So it's a whole group of very powerful and revolutionary transits. So I guess we could say the revolution in California begins this week. The Uranus return is one of the most important transits that a nation or state can have. When you get this as a person, you're 84 years old, so it's a much different experience. You're an older person. Whereas with a nation or state, it's a time of tremendous renewal. It coincides with major changes. And sometimes that means a complete revolution, like it did for the former Soviet Union. But not necessarily. Like recently we saw in Saudi Arabia, there were major changes, but not a complete revolution. Either way, there is always talk of revolution when this occurs. And with California, it appears to be all the more volatile due to the concurrent transits, especially the Uranus conjunct Pluto. Now, the Uranus conjunct Uranus transit brings a new evolutionary path for a nation or state. The last time, I should say, that's because Uranus rules our process of evolution, and it has such a powerful effect on the collective consciousness of the people. It really represents, like I talked about before earlier, brotherhood and equality and democracy and the collective of the people. So when Uranus comes around for the return, it's like a whole new evolutionary path for the collective. Now, the last time this occurred was in 1934, and we can kind of look back to that to give us some idea of what we can expect this time. And at that time, we saw a new evolutionary path for California. The Hollywood golden era began around that time. And that was the new paradigm of evolution for the state of California, which replaced the gold rush paradigm that existed since the state was born. Now a new paradigm needs to come into being. And of course the old paradigm is resisting very strongly, and that would be Hollywood and the Democratic machine, which completely controls the politics in this state. And now they face an incredibly difficult challenge. They need to try to pull the state together in order to chart a new course of evolution for the collective. But they have to do this while resisting Trump's popular conservatism. So it's a very difficult challenge for them. There are millions of dissatisfied Californians who'd love to see some big event make an abrupt change for the better, for a variety of reasons. Some to pull it together under democratic ideals, and others to split it apart. And we could see a significant event that marks the start of these big changes, something that really defines the issue, which is likely to be something about immigration, since that's the hot issue of the day. But nonetheless, there needs to be something that comes into the collective awareness right now. There's already a lot, but my sense is we need to see some big event, something that brings the issue to the forefront so that everyone is fully aware of what's going on. And that's because at this time, the idea of change and revolution envelops the group consciousness. So we need some event to do that, because that's what happens at the Uranus return. Everyone in the group gets the idea that we need a big change, and that's what makes it all start going. So that's kind of what we're looking for. The reason the big event may happen this weekend as well is because, you've also got the Uranus conjunct Pluto and the quincunx Jupiter, but look at Mercury. Mercury is coming in to make the same transits as Uranus. As well, Mars, current at 29 degrees of Capricorn, is squaring Uranus and Pluto. So that's a real recipe for political turmoil. And this weekend we've got the Mercury square Mars aspect along with the Mercury conjunct Uranus aspect. And because of these concurrent transits, much of that energy may very well be focused on the state of California. So we're seeing a lot of astrological indicators to say that something really big is brewing the weekend of the 12th and 13th, and moving on into the following week as well. So I thought we'd take a look at Jerry Brown's transits as well. He's been going through some really strong transits. Saturn recently went stationary retrograde. You'll see he's got natal Saturn at 9 degrees 9 minutes of Aries, and that's exactly the degree and minute that Saturn went stationary retrograde, right on the square to his natal Saturn. So that brought a serious limitations to his life. But he is also going through some transits that could instigate him to do something rather bold. Jupiter opposition Mars. You'll see 18 degrees of Scorpio to 18 degrees of Taurus. And the second pass of that one was just last week on the 5th. And that transit surely gave him a renewed burst of energy and probably inspired him to do something secretive, because it's in Scorpio, possibly against the leader. And this week, on the 10th, which is going to be on Thursday, he's going to have Mars opposition Pluto. You'll see 27 degrees of Capricorn, 27 degrees of Cancer. Well, that's a pretty volatile transit. Maybe he makes a threat or does something audacious and defiant. He might do something very provocative, take a strong stand against authority, or at the least have a conflict with authority. And note, on the very same day, the 10th, he's having Venus square Neptune. So he's going to be a bit delusional and not really thinking clearly, because it's Venus in Gemini. As well, he's got the ongoing Pluto opposition Moon. He's got Moon, you see here, at 20 degrees of Cancer. And he's about to get the second pass of that one as well on June the 30th. And that one really we can attribute to most of his recent defiant behavior and desire to be the leader of this revolution. So, he's got all the transits to inspire him to be the leader of this revolution. And the revolution looks like it's starting this weekend with the Uranus return. And he, coincidentally, is having some really confrontational transits this week. So that pretty much sums up the picture this week for the golden state of California. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get something that brings the idea of change into the collective. So that's all this week. Okay, so in closing, my website is now up and running under the name CalmSoCalm.com. Here it is. I even got my little symbol here, TSC, Calm So Calm, preparing for the calm to come. And you can even access my web stuff here, the astrology channel and my weblog. It's all available through this, as well as the different services that I offer. So that finally got up and running, and at this point, it's still, I think, kind of in the introduction stages. I plan on making it a hub of useful information, astrology and other topics for the spiritually minded. It's going to grow. I'm going to have astrology classes and different things like that, different articles. It's going to be a lot more informative once it gets completely filled in. But right now, I finally got it up and running, so you can check it out if you like. And like I say, you can connect to my YouTube videos through this site. And I'm gladly accepting donations for my work, which I share freely with the community. It takes a lot of time and effort to put these reports together each week, and I really appreciate your support. And thank you to all my subscribers and supporters that donate on a regular monthly basis through Patreon and PayPal. You'll find donations for Patreon and PayPal in the lower right-hand corner of the flower image on my homepage, right here. My Twitter feed is TomJordan364. You can follow me, and I haven't been doing too much of that lately, but I will continue to post there on Twitter. And please contact me if you're interested in a natal or transit reading. I am available for consultations on a regular monthly basis as well, using astrology as a tool for life coaching. In addition, I am a Reiki master, and if you're interested in long-distance Reiki healing or a psychic reading, please contact me at mobilestar7@yahoo.com or my weblog, where I post the transcript of these weekly videos. I'll leave links in the description. And just to let you know, as you can see here by my demographic statistics, that YouTube is really messing with my channel. You can see here the last 28 days, April 4th through May the 1st, and 100% are female, ages 55 to 64, according to this chart. Yet during this time, I've gotten several new male subscribers. So how's that possible? Clearly, this is out of whack. So I just want to continue showing that to you people, let you know YouTube is doing something to my channel. So that's all this week for Weekly Astrology Notes. Once again, thanks for viewing, liking, and sharing my video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Many blessings, and have a great day.